Alrighty, so I got carried away with this conversation with Mr. Duane Lue-Fung, who's the executive chairman of the TGL group, which is a very fascinating group. What does TGL stand for? Good morning, Duane.
Morning, Alan. How are you?
I'm good. You're a familiar face.
Yes.
And I absolutely love the company that you've coined,
Yes.
you represent, and you live, breathe, and think sales, right? What does TGL stands for?
Okay. Think, grow, lead, as it suggests. Think. Well, actually, my favorite book is a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Yes, I think it's a fascinating book, and it really delves into really how to get success and using a lot of what we call mental laws.
Mm-hmm.
So I always, in one of the things I do in terms of talking to people about success, is I always talk to them about the elements of success, which is first your thoughts.
Right.
So I've got thoughts, words, feelings, and actions, and that's where you get results. So to lead. So the end result is that you really want to lead in any sphere of your life. You really want to become a leader. You really want to lead in sales. You want to lead in your field, any field. You want to be a leader.
Exactly.
If you walk it backwards, so you have to really think first, which is generating good thoughts. You know what I mean? Think about it. You plant a seed in the universe vibrationally, it must happen.
And then you act on it.
And then from thoughts, that's the only way that you'll grow. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. And growth is constant. You always constantly have to be growing. And then by extension, you must lead. So we call the term think, grow, lead.
Does make sense.
Fantastic.
Firstly, the foundation is sales, right?
Yes.
The minute you walk through your door, you're selling yourself, right? And with Rising with Purpose on a Tuesday, we try to, give knowledge to persons to elevate your mind, put your best foot forward, right? And tell us a little bit more about how you really and truly sell yourself. So if you come out the door not putting on anything, what are you selling? You're not selling anything, right? Or maybe you are selling something.
It depends. But you really have to look at sales as to sell is human, firstly.
Mm-hmm.
You must understand. So let us drop this misconception about and label sales as from a career standpoint. To sell is human.
That is true.
I can tell you 40% of everything that you do every day involves some kind of selling. If you're in the art of persuasion,
Mm-hmm.
which is persuading someone to do something, whether it is at work, whether it is with your child, I remember at one point I had to convince my son to take a bath. And I realized that was one of the biggest sales jobs. He just didn't want to, in the morning, just didn't want to go to school, just didn't want to bathe.
So how did you convince him?
And it was a sales job. You have to convince and persuade all the time. So if you think about it, selling is breathing and selling is life, but you're always doing it. So if you move the misconception around it and think that most of what you do every day involves some kind of persuading or convincing someone, whether at the office, to work with you, to work in a team, to work in alignment. You have to convince people about your vision of going this way or that way. And if you think about it, a major part of your life is convincing and persuading.
And you have to do it every day, every second of the day, really.
It's like breathing.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. And I like how you put that, because sometimes we overcomplicate things and it doesn't have to be. So once you've had the human element in sales, then you know exactly what it is, right? But tell me more about TGL Group and how do you help persons and organizations overall? How long have you been in Jamaica?
So we started this business in 2015, and TGL Group is I like to put it very simply.
Mm-hmm.
A company exists to make money and profit. It does, bottom line, unless you're a non-profit organization. And even non-profits still have to go and sell
Right.
donors and people as how to put money in the non-profit in order for them to go and give it away or to do what they need to do. So there is an element of the fact that every business must generate some form of revenues and income. How is it done? It must be done through the process of selling. Then, so when companies are having issues, and we call them ailments, sales ailments, which is either the people are not as effective at exchanging that, whatever value or service the company has
Right.
for exchange for money, or the organization from a sales structure standpoint is not moving efficiently. For example, they have no systems, they have no aligned or optimized sales process, or there is no sales strategy.
Which is very important.
Oh, that's everything.
It's the direction. You have to have direction.
Or the leadership within itself needs some kind of help in terms of, for example, sales leadership. So we look at every ailment. So think about us as almost like a doctor, a very clinical neurosurgeon. So you come to us and we will say, let's do a sales MRI. Let's look into the belly of the organization. Let's look at the area that you need help. And then we send our surgeons to go and clinically adjust it. That's how good we are at what we do.
I absolutely believe you. We do know of TGL for a very long time in Jamaica.
Yes.
And the success rate it has been proven.
Yes.
So I know now that you're currently in Trinidad.
Yes. We're fortunate enough to get an opportunity. We won a very large sales consultancy bid that went out regionally. And we have been fortunate to land that in Trinidad, and so much so that the market was clamoring for the work that we do, and there's a need there really, just for some good sales consultancy work. So we have an official office in Trinidad over the last 8 months, and it has been going fantastic for us.
That's awesome. And I know off air, you were telling me the difference with the market between Trinidad and the hunger that they have. I mean, Jamaicans are hungry for knowledge too.
Yeah, definitely. There's always a difference in the market. They say that sometimes, and I guess because we've been here so long, and we have done some good work here and still continue to do good work. So much so that we had to come back to launch this workshop that we're doing October the 17th because of the consistent requests we've been getting to come back in the market for sales for the open house workshop. So that's why we're here.
Okay. All right. So listen, I can talk to you all morning.
Yes.
But we can wrap all this information in just one go.
Yes.
So for our listeners who listen to Rising with Purpose every day, they want to learn, we want to learn, I want to learn, right? And for somebody that's fearful of trying sales, how do they even get started, and what's your advice? I know you have courses that, you can also let us know how we can access that information. Let me know where we can actually find that information.
If you go to mytglgroup.com, you will see a lot of the courses that we have. We actually a couple of years ago really thought about why we should start a school of sales, literally.
Oh, you have a school of sales?
Which really promotes people's learning how to sell. If you think about it, where does a doctor learn medicine at school?
Yes.
Lawyers will go to legal school. So everybody that in their profession learn the art and science of what they do from an institution. Most salespeople have nowhere to go. There's nowhere. If you ask someone that is selling now, where do you learn sales? They're like, I don't
think
know
on
at
your
home.
feet.
Yeah, and I went to the job and they gave me a telephone director and a phone and they figured it out.
Yeah.
And we're saying, no, that has to stop. We need people in the most important profession on the planet to learn exactly what to do clinically, technically, and tactically, and have the skill set to do it and not guess anymore. And that's how we have broadened our scope and have different areas of the business to teach sales in a very strategic way.
Okay, so mytgl.com.
mytglgroup.com. Yes.
All right, so you can check out that information. There's a lot more to sales than just getting up and selling a pencil. It's not just selling a pencil. There's way more to it. So thank you so much, Duane Lue-Fung, who's the executive chairman of TGL Group, for all the information you've provided. I would love to ask you more, but I feel like we can do a part 2 to this. I'll ask my producer. All right. Thank you so much,
Definitely.
Duane.
It was my pleasure. All right. Thanks. It's happy being here.
Awesome. So that was Rising with Purpose. Join us again next week, Tuesday, for